Hello everyone and welcome back to Brink of Speed. My name is Clarence. I do have a shirt on. I'm here today at the National Corvette Museum and this is my first time here, and I'm helping Clarence out with his delivery of his brand new C8 Corvette. But I wanted to get a separate video of my first experience just walking up to the museum, walking inside and seeing all of the amazing sights to be seen in there. Right as you walk up, right behind me, you will see in the distance a beautiful ZR1. And this ZR1 isn't just any ZR1. This is the Nürburgring ZR1. As you can see, it has the Nürburgring right on the back. And check out that exhaust. They actually cut off the larger pipes that were sticking out of this thing when you saw it going around the Nürburgring. So anyway, it's all scuffed up. It's been brutally raced around that track. So that's the first thing you see when you walk up, is this gorgeous ZR1. Then you walk in the front doors here, and the first thing you see is a Grand Sport. Which that's my favorite color scheme on the Grand Sport. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then the next thing you see are these, I think there's seven Corvette C8 sitting here waiting to be delivered by the National Corvette Museum. So as I told you guys, I'm here to film Clarence.
Is telling the early history of Corvette and how Corvette started. So this car's a really neat car. It's got the third chassis ever made for the 53s, and of course it's a cutaway car. So it's one where people can actually see how little was between them and the road.
Right.
Of course, the 53s, the first 2 years, the Blue Flame 6 engine was in those before in 55 and toward the top came on and the V8s along and make it where it is today. And some of the clay models that the engineers, designers use.
Right. Yes, from the battleship.
There you go. There it is right there. Now, what's really cool is we've got something that came as part of this exhibit, a very rare piece of Corvette history. Before Corvette became the official name, it was called a Cougar. Before when they were trying to name it, when Project Opal, which was the hidden project for the Corvette project. Right. This is a very rare photo. One of the few that you'll see that has the Cougar badging on the car. You can't see it, it's on the emblem as well, and on the steering wheel on the inside.
Oh, nice.
And again, that was for a very short time. There's very little footage of this, okay, that you'll find anywhere, so that's very rare. These memos were memos pertaining to when Corvette became the official name of the car. And the guy that gets credited for naming the car is a guy by the name of Myron Scott, who worked in the styling and PR publications department of Chevrolet General Motors. And as the story has it, just thumbing through the dictionaries where he came across the Corvette, which Corvette is class of naval vessels, small, fast, sleek, maneuverable, kind of fit with it. Two tie-ins, not only for the car, but also the folks that inspired the car, which were returning servicemen and women from World War II, who raced and drove the European sports cars on the Air Force bases to boost troop morale. So, really neat story with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And these cars came along with the new exhibit as well. Some of the open roadsters that were driven by our servicemen, as well as this 46 Stout concept, which is one of the first that used fiberglass.
That's your new C8, Clarence?
No. That may cost more than my new C8.
That car's a pretty good car.
Yeah.
Our next stop is going to pertain more to when the car was unveiled to the world for the first time, which was in January of 1953 in New York City at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. This is another very rare piece of Corvette history. This is one of the original emblems that was on the pre-production car that Corvette actually has.
Yes, they do actually.
This was on the car. Now the funny thing, they couldn't unveil the car until they changed the emblem, because during that time in our country, it was against the law to mass produce something with the American flag on for public sale. Wow. So they had to go to a jeweler in New York to change the emblem, which, of course, obviously the racing flag and the Chevrolet bow tie, obviously synonymous with the Chevrolet race car. The fleur-de-lis, which is the French sign of royalty, and the three lines were to honor the three Chevrolet brands, which I always think is kind of funny because Louis Chevrolet was Swiss. But yeah, that was the original. There had to be only a couple of those on the car, so that's a very rare. We're very fortunate to have that.
That's awesome.
In our museum.
Very cool.
Now, right around here, actually, first year 1953 Corvette.
Wow.
This is number 92. I'm pretty sure this is when we started. Make sure this is 90. They only built 300 the first year. So yeah, this is 93 actually.
Okay.
So first year they built 300 cars in Flint, Michigan, all built by hand. You could get, if you liked polo white with a red interior, that's all 300 were polo white with a red interior. You could get two options on the first Corvette: an AM radio and a heater. That's all you could get. And every car had them, so they were fully loaded. The first couple of years, though, Corvette sales were not very good. I mean, a sports car with a Blue Flame 6 engine is not something enticing the folks that want high performance. So one of the questions you may have walking in the National Corvette Museum is, why is a 55 Thunderbird or Thunderbird in the museum? Right. Well, as irony would make it, the Thunderbird coming out, when Ford produced the Thunderbird of 55, Chevrolet decided, instead of scrapping Corvette, let's just make it better. Let's go back and have something compete. So that's where our Zora Duntov display comes in. Zora Arcus Duntov was an engineering genius. Born in Belgium to Russian parents, he was really big into high performance and the inspiration for the car that you leave today, the miniature car. Right. One of the things that he did when he saw the car for the first time was liked what it looked like, but really disappointed in the performance aspects that the car didn't have. So he wrote a letter to Maurice Ollie, who was at the time one of the folks in charge of General Motors and Chevrolet, kind of giving compliments on the car, but also giving him some suggestions on what he thought would make the car thrive. Right. And one of the first innovations that he did, once he became the first chief engineer for Corvette, was bringing the V8 motor into the Corvette. 55, the first year V8s were introduced to the Corvette. If you want to ever know which cars got the V8s, the V on the Chevrolet is larger, so that would denote that car would be one that got a V8. Okay. There wasn't very many that got V8s that first year, but even some of his small innovations, fuel injection came along in 1957. Roll-up windows didn't come along till Zora came. All those innovations took that car from where it was to the performance it is today. And of course, the mid-engine was always a dream of Zora's. Right. And of course, he passed away in 1996. So as crazy as it sounded, he loved Corvettes so much that in 1996, when he passed away, his wishes were to have his ashes interred here at the museum. The little shrine here.
No way. Really?
Wow.
The large box is his. The gold box on top is his wife Elfie, who passed away in 2008.
No way. These are his real ashes?
Yes.
Insane. And his family just agreed to all that, like his kids.
Absolutely. That was his wishes when he passed away.
Wow.
Obviously, he was here at the grand opening of the museum. There's some video of him actually when they did the first ribbon cutting, moving the dirt.
Oh yeah, I saw that he had a Corvette.
He's got that little cutout Corvette.
Yeah, I saw that.
On there.
He worked hard for the song Corvette wide and handy, which was performance option.
And that suit he's got on was the actual one that he wore at the grand opening in the museum in '94.
This is the actual.
Yes. If you
Holy cow!
Video inside the on the little video they show. there used to be footage of him, at the ribbon cutting, and he's wearing this suit.
Wow.
The 58 was one that Chevrolet used in all their early press and publication for the Corvette in 1958.
Oh wow.
It's a very early car. There's a press. Over here behind us, this 1967 convertible was owned by Roy Orbison.
Oh my gosh.
We've had this car, this has kind of been a permanent loan. We've had this car 8 or 9 years. Used to, before things moved, we used to call this our Route 66 display. There used to be a television show back in the 60s that ran from 60 to 64, and the main characters drove a Corvette riding around the country doing their adventures. So if you look on the sign, that Route 66 sign, the two main characters, Buzz and Todd, the actors that played them, one was Mark Milner and George Maharis, were the two actors that played them. Yes, photographed on there. Buzz and Todd.
Or was it something that they came here to sign, or they was sent to them to sign?
This was here, been here 12 years, and that was here. I'm assuming that they somehow, I don't know if they sent it to them on the Route 66 sign, or I don't know that. Somehow. Now, as we move along, over here to the left is our St. Louis display. St. Louis was the second owned Corvette. Corvettes were built there from 1954 to the summer of '81 when they moved to Bowling Green, and have been the home ever since. The wall that you see with all the placards, it's another way we raise funds. This is our Flint brick wall, so the bricks you see were taken from the original Flint building where the first 300 were built, and the only year they were built in Flint. Folks can make a donation to the museum to have their name put up on the Flint brick wall. Okay. And over behind us here is our Chevrolet dealership, highlighting the looks and feels of the old Chevrolet dealerships of that time. Of course, the two cars are from the C2 generation. Corvette's built from 1963 until 1967. I'm pretty sure we own both of them. Yeah, these are both donated cars. These are two at the museum. Which is very nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Now behind the curtain here is more renovation that we have for our racing and performance area. On the sign here, you can actually look at some of the pictures of what it's going to look like. Some of the renderings. Again, hoping to have this available by Bash at the end of April. It's a pop-up seat.
Oh, that's cool.
Is it going to spin, or is it just
I don't know if that is or not. The old area used to have just a round room in here that we had where we did educational stuff, and they took that out and opened it up, so it actually there's cars behind it as well that'll make a loop. So it's going to be really nice. And hopefully done before.
Yeah, the back,
That's the hope. It's a big crowd here.
ZR1.
This is our Nürburgring exhibit.
Nice.
Nürburgring, of course, is the test track over in Nürburgring, Germany, built in the village of Nürburgring, Germany.
Right.
73 different turns, a little over 13 miles in total length.
Yep.
The video you're watching, this car, it's 2012 ZR1, the C6 generation ZR1, running the Nürburgring. The driver, Jim Merrow, runs it in 7 minutes and 19 seconds. He reaches a high speed of 183 miles an hour on this. This car was the first year Corvette did a supercharger on the engine. This car put out 638 horsepower.
It was a tough car to compete.
Yes. Now, we've got another the ZR1 from the C7 generation. We've got another Nürburgring. It's in the turntable up in the front. And allegedly, Merrow ran the ZR1 at Nürburgring in that one in 7 minutes and 4 seconds.
We're actually friends. We talked a few times.
With him?
Yeah.
Cool dude.
Yeah.
And the shape, of course, the shape of the track.
Yep.
Jackie Stewart, the old Formula One driver, gave it the nickname the Green Hell because it's such a rough technical track. A lot of car companies use that to test, and I used to, I don't know if they still do, it's opened up sometimes a year for the public to drive on the Nürburgring as well.
That would be fun.
Yeah, you can go there and drive it.
Now this area is our concept and design area, which right now is going to renovation as well. So not as many concepts, of course, that called Astroved. It's one of the Chevrolet built in '68. It's got a cousin Astro 2, which is blue.
Right.
concept car.
Is that running right now?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Okay. It's probably the most expensive.
This one's got a neat story. 63, of course, was the only year they did the split window in the back as well.
Yep.
Jordan right there.
The styling people, Bill Mitchell,
Right.
liked it, but the engineering people thought it was really crazy to have something blocking rear visibility in a sports car. This is the first year that the Z06 performance option was available as well. I think only 199 of those cars got the Z06 option, and this is one of only 6 that got the larger gas tank for racing.
Wow.
The original owner of this was Grady Davis, who was the chairman CEO of Gulf Oil at the time. So that car, that 12-cylinder ZR12, it's on the floor, so we'll see it. You'll get to get some video. The car on the other side, of course, this is the 73 Amelia concept with the dual rotor, dual rotors.
Yep.
This just came back from Amelia Island. As the 86 is on loan from General Motors, that car is called the Indy concept car, which I marvel at. I mean, that car was built 34 years ago.
Yeah, and it's
Got
amazing.
it's got a lot of the different design characteristics that's carried over to Europe.
Oh, wow. I know last time I was back there, they had the Grand Sport back there. They had...
There's Zora's 74, the one that was, which would have been on display by his, but is off because of where they're moving the displays.
Wow.
It's off the floor. He's displaying more than anybody else in this. I think you might have written produced it.
Wow, guys, I don't know how they did this, but they use people with their Corvettes, little tiny thumbnail pictures to make a 1953 C1 Corvette. So I'll zoom all the way in and you'll see what I'm talking about.
I wonder how long did it take?
I don't know.
They look like a lifetime project.
A lot of pictures.
I'm not good at
See what I mean?
Jeremy suggested that we, in the pictures, find out the story behind the picture, and definitely something that piqued the interest of the world in the Corvette world. Nobody was here when that happened. That was great.
Yeah.
And one of the things we'll get to see in this exhibit that was built after this happened is telling the story not only of the Corvettes and what happened with it, but also a little bit about our part of the country and how Corvettes how sinkholes were formed and what happened here. So over here to the right as we're moving along, this is different videos of some of the major networks that took the story, as well as the actual surveillance video when it happened.
Holy cow.
Slowly but surely.
Do they slow it down, or is that real time?
That's live. That's real time.
Wow.
It took a little bit before then you'll see it all just collapse. Starts breaking away right there.
Holy cow.
And over here behind us, a little bit of information on the 8 cars that fell on the sinkhole. The C6 ZR1 when it came out in 09. Of course, the 1 millionth Corvette was also on loan from General Motors. The 62 convertible we owned, our maintenance and preservation department actually did the restoration. Give you an idea, the cave's kind of shaped like a kitten.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Before this
Yeah.
floor actually fell in.
Yeah.
It was near miss. It's a pretty slow process. Right?
Yeah.
Let's go check out the cars that fell in.
These are parts and what's left of
Good
some of all
golly.
of the 8 cars. Of course, 3 were restored. The 62 that we did here on site. the 1 millionth Corvette, and then the 2009 ZR1 Bluebell, which started its life as a Z06.
Now that looks like a Batmobile.
That is it's called a Greenwood Daytona
Wow.
version. It's a 1981. Of course, the Lingenfelter, you know, so the aftermarket stuff you can do, like Callaway car here.
Sure.
Adds a lot of more performance and horsepower. And you'll notice as you walk around, a lot of these cars are sitting where they were the day it happened. So you notice as we move around how close some of the other cars came to falling in. We had about 30 cars back here the day that it happened.
Sheesh.
That car, that 84, that PPG base car, that was the one on the surveillance video. That's the one that fell first. Yes, they were donated to us. We own those. We were fortunate. We've actually bought this car. GM gave us since it was a $1.5 million. That car was donated. That's what's left of the 2001's a mallet conversion. And the guy donated it a couple of months before this happened.
Sheesh.
And the car over there,
That is absolute destruction right there.
pre-production ZR1 convertible. And of course the 40th anniversary edition, which we had several of those donated to us. One of the reasons that the Maintenance and Preservation Department started, because when this happened, we got a spike in donations, so we got a lot of cars donated to us, a lot more than what we could handle. Mike's standing on. It's about a 30-foot drop from right here. The caves slants, so where we walked in is about an 80-foot drop from right there.
Wow.
No, it was actually donated to us. Ivan and Mary Schroeder donated the car to us when he purchased it and brought it here to give to us. This is the very last car.
Very last 2019 Stingray, guys.
And of course, our generational display to let folks what we're talking about, C6 generation, C5 generation, know what bodies have.
This is one of those super rare Z06s. Yeah.
That's a 60th anniversary
Yep.
edition.
60th anniversary. They only made 128 in that color.
All their transport, so everybody was there.
An early C8 test mule.
This is one of the pre-production C8s.
From the
Basically one of the ones that, this is a powertrain test car. Basically one of the ones covered in camo. So
Sure.
they brought this to us about a year ago to put on display here.
I love how they
It's really cool.
tried to fake everybody out with the lights.
We've got all the instruments for testing
Yeah.
stuff in this. It's really cool.
So those are all people who are inducted into the Corvette Hall of Fame.
So she had great brains, conversing with the kings and
Spires
queens
11
and the
stories tall.
presidents of the world, you know.
Only by Mobile One. The preferred motor oil and the motor oil.
Stop interrupting, Clarence.
This here right here is neat because all these little cars that you see here, the
Holy
hot rods
cow.
and roasters,
Wow.
definitely some creative looks.
Yeah. Look at that bubble car.
Isn't that neat? Look at some of the swag carpet.
What's that cartoon I watched as a kid? When the cars were flying.
Oh, Jetsons?
The Jetsons,
Yeah.
George Jetson.
Wow. What in the world?
The greatest part is if that was the case, there'd be more accidents in the air than we were driving that way.
Yeah.
There's side swipe.
I love side swipe.
Oh yeah.
And crosshair.
Yes. This one actually made its first appearance here at the museum back in 2009. It's in the GM Heritage Collection. We have it on loan from them for this, but we had it here for the 15th anniversary caravan.
I remember when I saw this car on the video, I paused and I was like, is that a Corvette? Yeah, I was like, who do I call to ask this question to? But
you know what's pretty neat about this? A lot of folks thought, okay, this is what the C7 is going to look like.
Yeah.
But if you notice, which may catch the eyes of some people, see where they had the Stingray on this car,
Right.
like they did with the C7,
Right.
and the Stingray in the back, like they have on your car.
oh,
So that, I mean, there's little
Combinations.
hidden gems
Yeah.
involved that ended up going into the generation, not the body.
I mean, it's really, I wouldn't say this probably the exact bike type. It's not it resembles it.
It has a really good, and these doors should be.
Oh, really? That's what I said. That's cool. I love super doors. I don't know if you know.
Oh, look at the front end.
Those lights is one of those where the lights form together to make the regular headlight plate.
Wow.
The three colored lights in the front that mix to make a single white beam.
Have people driven this?
Yeah. I don't know if that's driven now, but I mean,
Right.
yeah. Ed Roth really stretched the
So crazy.
boundaries a lot. I want to be on the peyote.
By the way,
These
guys,
run,
that's
they
what
built
the
this-
C9 is going to look like.
You never know.
Oh, the test car.
What's funny though is probably right now somebody's already working on that next generation.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least it's really
What?
crazy how much these guys have. I can't remember what in the videos conceptually when they started doing the C8. Chevy! There's another bubble.
Yeah.
There's some old view of Tom Peters' office.
Because he's retired at this point,
Yeah.
right?
Of course, he just went into the last Hall of Fame class too.
Oh, okay.
The two songs.
Cool.
There's Crosshair. Yeah, it was. I don't know. This one wasn't in the first transformer. The side swipe was.
What's this one called?
That one is. That's not a transformer car. It is. Galpin Ford GTR1.
I was gonna say that looks like a Ford to me.
That's what Galpin Ford GTR1.
Look at that interior. That's beautiful. It's got the huge scoop up front like the Ford GT.
It's about 12:15. Did you guys want to grab lunch or something before
Yeah.
we do the next?
I mean,
'cause I know you guys are on Eastern time, so you guys are pretty hungry, I'd say.
I'm going to get some pictures in here and then I'm ready.
If you want to, you guys go grab lunch, and then I'll just meet you guys out by the car. I'm going to go and put your sticker in, and I'll check with Shane and see if anything's coming to FedEx, because if it's in tag, I won't put that on the car too.
They say they're going to email.
So Shane, hey, by the way, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I wasn't sure, so.
No, I thought you were talking about the back. I'm like, when I walk back there outside of those cars,